Perloo! Perloo! Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. We are reading Perloo the Bold by ABI. And currently we are on chapter 7. It's called Jolaine the Good. Jolaine, Jolaine. Okay. I definitely had my coffee today. This morning. Today. Here we go. Jolaine the Good, chapter 7. Grantor Jolaine's gray face was withered. Her breathing was slow and irregular, with a hint of painful rattle. Her small nose, green with age, quivered feebly. Her neck tuft, white as snow and thin as gossamer, was wrapped about her neck like a scarf. Her long feet, swathed in marmot fur, stuck up at the end of the bed. Dressed in a smock of blue ermine, her thin arms lay atop a woven grass comforter. Her paws clutched a small book, The Adventures of Magwat the Magpie. Whirling about, Perloo took a hop toward the little door. Lucabara blocked his way. I've locked the door, she said. Do your duty. Do your duty. She pointed in the direction of the dying Grantor. Go to her. But for Magwat's sake, Perloo, Lucabara cried, go! Perloo hopped timidly toward the bed. As he drew close, Jolaine moved her head with little lidded eyes. She peered in his direction. Who's there? She asked in a voice as soft as passing cloud. It's me, Grantor Perloo, he said, pulling down his left ear and holding it in his trembling paws. The old Montemer worked her thin lips into a smile. Perloo, she said, how generous of you to come. Feeling a stab of shame at his reluctance to visit, Perloo rubbed his paws and fussed with his whiskers. I'm so sorry you're ill, he murmured. Jolaine lifted a limp paw from her book, only to let it drop. Merely old, she said. Perloo, there's no time for pleasantries. Draw closer. Listen with care. I'm listening, Grantor. Your paw, she said, holding out one of hers. Perloo obeyed. Jolaine wrapped her 4 fingers, thin as snowberry stalks, around Perloo's, giving them a delicate squeeze. I'm dying, she began. Perloo lifted a paw in protest. Don't talk, just listen, Perloo. You and I have chatted about old ways. You, next to myself, know more Montemer history than anyone else. You know our tribal laws, our traditions. You know the way we've changed. In old times, we Granters had absolute authority, but our tribe has now moved toward newer freedoms. We must not regress, as Magwat said. Jolaine squeezed the book she was holding. When you take one backward hop, it requires 2 hops to go forward. Perloo Montemers must go forward. They need to live in greater freedom. Jolaine closed her eyes. Her speech had taken much effort. Perloo waited patiently until she spoke again. Perloo, are you still here? Yes, Grantor. Good. My only cub, Berwick, would make a bad Grantor, she continued. As Magwat has told us, fear not the weak, only they who try to hide their weaknesses. Berwick is weak, lazy, insensitive. Sinus, his friend, is treacherous. Neither can be trusted. The old Montemer breathed deeply. The rattle grew more pronounced. Over most of our history, she went on, the eldest cub of the passing Grantor became the new Grantor. But as you know, Perloo, not always. It is my responsibility to select another. Jolaine, summoning strength again, paused. When she opened her eyes, she gazed at him. Perloo, she said at last. My choice to be the next Grantor is you. Me? Perloo said with a gasp, staring wide-eyed at Jolaine. The old Montemer managed to smile. Yes, Perloo. You are to be the next Granner. A dumbfounded Perloo glanced at Lucabara to make sure he had heard correctly. She gave him a nod, as much to say, yes, it's true. Perloo turned back to Jolaine. But, he stammered, how could I be? I'm nothing. You are, Perloo, Jolaine whispered. Learned but modest. You have your weaknesses, but you don't hide them. Among all Montemers, you know more of our history than any other. That will enable you to be true to yourself. Jolene paused and closed her eyes. Her energy was ebbing fast. But I don't even want to be Granner, Palud blurted out. I want to stay in my burrow and read. The old Granner snorted softly. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's a weakness to others, Perloo cried. Perloo, Jolene said, you cannot have the luxury of doing what you wish. I am about to proclaim you my successor. Don't I have any say in the matter? Perloo implored, eyes full of tears. Jolene's face clouded. Her body tensed. It's Berwick. He wishes to turn from our progress, to hop backwards, to become a dictator. I fear he intends to make a new war against the Felbards. War? Perloo recoiled with horror. Is there any reason for a war? None, but I think that his and Seigneur's plans, they have been building up the army, making promises to warriors. But how can I stop them? Even if I know a lot, that doesn't mean I can do anything. Lucabara, Jolaine called in a whisper. Bring me the proclamation. Lucabara hopped to a box that stood at the front of Jolaine's bed. From it, she removed a bark scroll, 6 paws in length and width, kept rolled up by a twist of kanini. Untie it, the old Montemer requested in an ever-diminishing voice. With a soft flutter, the scroll opened. Perloo, Jolaine said. Read this for yourself. She held out the sheet of bark. Reluctantly, Perloo took the sheet and glanced at the words. The room was too dim, and Perloo too dazed to focus clearly. So he only pretended to read the document before returning it to Jolaine. Jolaine pressed it to her chest. There, she whispered. Do you understand all I have said? I think so, Perloo said softly. My paw is proof, Jolaine continued. So, above all else, protect this. We will, Lucabara said from across the room. Good, Jolaine said. Now, Perloo, Perloo, the unwilling. Hold your left ear with your right paw. But do as your grantor bids, Jolaine said with a touch of her old authority. Now, Perloo, the grantor continued, do you promise to maintain and enlarge the freedoms of all Montemers? Please, can't I just... Perloo! Perloo, Lucabara pleaded from across the bed. She's fading. Yes or no? Jolaine asked. Well, Perloo managed to say, I suppose. Oh, bird's teeth. But, oh well, yes! Oh, Montemers, thank you, Jolaine said in a small voice. Ears drooping, face pale, eyes closed, the old Granner lay back upon her grass pillow. Granner Perloo, before me and the witness, Lucabara, you have made a promise to which you are bound. Lucabara, fetch me a marking stick. I must sign the proclamation. Hurry, I'm going. Lucabara dropped the scroll on the bed, then hopped back to the chest and brought out a marking stick. Even as she did, there came a great thump on the room's main door. Let me in, a voice demanded. It was Berwick. Oh, sign the papers! Sign it! Do it! Do it! Okay. So yeah, chapter 7. Chapter 7. I called it. I knew she's going to make him the successor. Who else would it be than Perloo, the main character? But I like it. It was a good chapter. Got me excited. It's hard to do an old lady rabbit voice. But Perloo. Uh, so yeah, I bet they'll maybe Mukabara will take this scroll and or I don't know, somehow they'll escape, I bet, or something. They have to. There's probably like a secret back door that Lucabara knows. And maybe they like escape to another little borough town or something. I don't know. I can't remember what happens, honestly. But I'm excited. This is good book so far. Like I can understand why I liked it as a kid so much. Just the creativity around the rabbit people, their whole culture and lore of the Magwat, um, basically like their hero, um, bird. But I'm actually interested into reading about the Felbarts. Yeah, because I don't know. I can't remember if they're wolf people or something. It's something like that. I think it's wolf people that they go to war with. So we'll see. And maybe in the next chapter of Perloo the Bald by AVI. Perloo. Okay, see you on the next one.